Namaskar viewers, I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's episode of the Tax Talk with AJ right here on your favorite channel ITV Gold. The show, the Tax Talk with AJ, is brought to you by Size CPS Services, a professional accounting firm in the state of New Jersey with multiple locations. When it comes to doing taxes right, Size CPS Services' motto is that to do taxes right. They believe in that, and that's why they have been serving clients very well, and they have the highest satisfaction rate among the clients in the nation because they take their time and they are very passionate and they are very diligent in doing the taxes right, whether it's a personal taxes or corporate taxes. Size CPS Services should be one and only your choice. To make an appointment to go to see Size CPS Service expert, give them a call at 908-888-8900, 908-888-8900, or visit sizecpsservices.com, their website, and their knowledgeable expert, experienced CPAs on hand will guide you and will advise you and will make sure that you are all set with your taxes. All right, so their phone number is 908-888-8900. And God forbid, if you are in the IRS tax audit and you still haven't done anything, that's not good. Make them know about IRS tax audit and give them a call as early as possible. With that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. AJ Kumar of Size CPS Services to this show. Every week he joins us and he shares his knowledge, valuable knowledge and expertise right with us on Tax Talk with AJ. He's a CPA, CVA, and MBA, having all three degrees. You can imagine that over 25 years of experience, how knowledgeable that he is. AJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sanjeev, and thank you for the kind introduction.
Yes, sir, you're very welcome. That introduction is for Size CPS Services. And of course, since you are part of Size CPS Services, credit also goes to you. But to your entire firm and all the support staff, here and overseas, they do such a fine job. And I have to let viewers know that for your taxes matter, wherever you get confused and whether you're not, for example, it's okay if you're not happy with your current CPA or you got tired of doing taxes on your own using the software and you find it confusing, please call Size CPS Services, visit them, and you will definitely be pleased with their services. 908-888-8900. All right, AJ, so here we are this week, and now we need to talk about, as we are at the year end of 2025, one of the most important things for companies to make sure is that payroll reconciliation. As the background of our show, the background of the screen shows the payroll matter, it's a payroll reconciliation. So let's talk about how to avoid IRS penalties and notices when it comes to payroll reconciliation for the year.
Absolutely. So payroll reconciliation or verifying the payroll information is equally important for the employees who are working for the business and for the small business owners. For the business owners who have the payroll, if the payroll is not reconciled properly, potentially they can have IRS audit, they can have Social Security audit notices, and potentially they can have large fines, penalties, interest around it. So if you look at it from the employee perspective, first, Sanjeevji, as an employee, you want to make sure that your name is spelled right, even though the numbers are what the numbers are. You probably wouldn't know how much Social Security is being deducted, which should be 6.2%, not more. But nonetheless, even if you don't understand the numbers, make sure your name is spelled right, your Social Security number is right, so the federal taxes, the Social Security taxes that you are paying are getting reflected to the proper Social Security number, your Social Security number. And make sure that your deductions, your allowances are properly reflected. If there is a need to update the Form W4, please work with your HR. Make sure you take the onus, you take the responsibility to have the right W2. A lot of times we get into situations when the employees are saying, my last name is misspelled, or the Social Security number is not right, and they did not check it. Or, for example, the address is not right. So when the W2 copy is mailed out to you, you never get it. So make sure the basic information is right on your W2 from an employee perspective. Now, from an employer perspective, the responsibility is multifold. It's even bigger than from an employee perspective. Make sure all your employees, you are sending a message as a small business owner, make sure all your employees are checking their information to confirm that the address is right, name is spelled properly, social security number is right, have it rechecked before issuing the W-2. If you issue the W-2 and then you find the mistake, you may end up correcting it. So you want to avoid those situations. Make sure your payroll is reconciled, so payroll reports that are typically filed every quarter are adding up to the quarterly payroll. Make sure your W-2 adds up to 12 months of payroll. Make sure you're filing the W-3. There are a lot of forms that needs to be filed with the IRS, state, and each state will have a different set of form. So it's investing some time with the payroll team, investing some time with the payroll department can potentially avoid a lot of IRS audit, a lot of penalties, and a lot of hassles for a small business.
All right, and of course, the Form 940, which is known for these payroll things, that is a very complicated form, and this is a huge task to have a payroll reconciliation. And, if it's a company and if you're very well experienced in a position, you should not be waiting till the end of the year. It should have been done at the end of the third quarter. But the process should have started at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So that gives you enough time to reconcile and get everything done. Because the payroll service companies sometimes could make mistakes also, right? So
100% Sanjeevji, and you rightly said, FUTA form, Federal Unemployment Tax Form 940. The primary reason, the main reason, the number one reason why 940 get rejected is because in order for 940 to go through, all the state unemployment forms must be submitted. What happens a lot of time, you have an employee working in a different state where you never did the state registration. Yeah. So the state unemployment form was never filed. That's why FUTA is not going through. That's why you will, even when you're working with a payroll company, and there are a lot of big payroll companies, ADP, Paychex, Intuit, Dust, there are plethora of them. There are 20 payroll companies out there. Even when you're working with a payroll company, your payroll forms, especially 940, FUTA forms get rejected because the state unemployment was not filed properly. A lot of times, state registration did not happen because nobody told the small business owner, if you have an employee working in a different state, you need the payroll registration in that state as well. That's why working with small accountants, working with an accounting firm, sometimes help in getting the right guidance. When you are trying to do the payroll yourself through a big company, they're only telling you what you're asking them. They're not guiding you in the direction where you need to be guided. If you ask the question, they will answer it. But if you don't ask the question, they're not answering it. You change the address to a different state in the payroll system. The payroll system is triggering the form, which they're not telling you. You don't know what you don't know. If you were working with a private accountant to do the payroll, to do the bookkeeping, they will tell you, hey, we cannot change the address. If you change this address, you need to do the registration. And then you will not have a 940 or state unemployment forms get rejected.
Very interesting. So now my question is, okay, so, AJ, you have told us what needs to be done. Now let's look at the other side. What if the errors are found after W-2s are issued?
It's not uncommon. You will always have one or two situations when you are doing thousands of payroll. You will have a situation or two where you issued the W-2, the employee did not check their name, did not check the spelling, did not check the address, the social security number was not reflected right. In those cases, you have the right to correct it. There is a W-2C. C stands for corrected. You can file a form W-2C. Please, if you're doing it yourself, please remember on W-2C, you only reflect the changed number. You don't reflect everything. So in a typical W-2, if you remember, you have federal income, social security, Medicare income, Medicare taxes, you have a lot of numbers over there. When you file W-2C, you're only expected to write the numbers that are changing. Original number, change number. You don't write everything over there. Okay. So just be careful when you file W-2C.
All right, good. So now maybe somebody would say that, listen, today's day and age, I use my payroll software. Payroll software does everything, and I don't need to worry about it, and so on and so forth. So my question to you is that can reconciliation be done by payroll software, or it should be also supervised or checked after the software has issued all the reports?
I think you need to take a proactive approach around it. You don't want to wait for everything to be filed and then check it out. The way I see it, as you rightly mentioned, at the end of third quarter, start in October. Start checking all the reports. Start checking all the employee information. As much as you are relying on the software to add up the numbers, to do the right thing, and software will do the calculation. But the onus, the responsibility remains on you to make sure all the basic information, name, address, social security number, date of birth, allowances, they are right in the software. At the same time, if there is a new address added on the payroll system, make sure that payroll registration is done in that state. Software is not going to help you with that. Software is mainly responsible for calculating the social security, calculating the income tax, making necessary payments to the IRS, making necessary payment to the state. So software is doing what the software is expected to do, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make sure that W-2s are issued correctly, W-3 is filed. If any payroll report, as we were talking about 940, which is commonly rejected, if that's rejected, you try to find why is it rejected, which state is creating the problem, have that state unemployment sorted out first before you resubmit 940. So long story short, the onus, the responsibility falls on you to make sure the software is doing what the software is supposed to be doing, and you are doing what the software is not expected to be doing.
Okay, one question before we go into the break is that do IRS look into the corporate tax returns? The first thing, do they look into the Form 940 or payroll reconciliation as soon as the corporate tax return has been submitted to IRS?
Two different things. Yes, they do. They will check on the corporate tax return that the payroll taxes, the payroll amount mentioned, the corporate tax return is matching with what's reported on 940, 941s, and all the other reports. But when you file the 940, the software, the IRS has a software that accepts these reports. The software is automatically doing a lot of checking. And if it's not reconciled properly, if the social security number is not right, there is an e-verification system that happens at the IRS level. And a lot of those reports get rejected right away, or you get a notice that you filed this report
incorrect.
For this person, the social security number is not right, or we could not accept your 940 unemployment division. If you are using a third-party payroll company, a lot of times they will send you this notice, they will send you this email that this report could not be filed for X, Y, or Z reason.
Okay, very well. Thank you so very much for that information. We're going to take a short break, but there is more to come your way when it comes to payroll reconciliation and how to avoid IRS penalties and notices. So stay with us. Welcome back to the second half of the Tax Talk with AJ. Today we're talking about payroll reconciliations. But before we go into the second part of the payroll reconciliations, viewers, I must let you know the show is sponsored by Science CPS Services. As you know by now, professional accounting firm located in state of New Jersey for any and all your tax matters. You can give them a call at 908-888-8900 or sciencecpsservices.com. Now let's continue our conversation. Payroll reconciliation, the most important thing before the end of the year must be done right. Of course, you have a software. Everybody uses software, but should you rely on the software that much? Even if you rely on the software so much, and if you think software has done a right job, do your best to reconcile it, several ways, so that way IRS notice or IRS penalties do not come to you. And that is the most important thing, because when it comes to payroll reconciliation, that is the one area where IRS wants to make sure that you are not cheating, or you're not making up the numbers or something like that. So that's why you need to do your payroll reconciliation correct. AJ, my first question to you is in second half is that companies give out bonuses and the commissions, and some reflects on a payroll, the other one on 1099, something like that. I'm just hypothetically asking. So how would that bonuses and commission work be part of payroll reconciliation?
So payroll system has a way to include the bonus as part of the regular salary, or you can run a separate pay stub, separate check for the bonus, or on the same pay stub you can show two separate lines, regular and bonus. The key here is the bonus. The additional money that you're paying to your employees must go through the payroll system. There has to be proper payroll taxes deducting on that amount. It has to be included on your W-2. So the last thing you want, and we get this question every day, Sanjeev ji, the last thing you want is to giving cash out or giving a separate check out where the payroll taxes were not deducted properly. Make sure it's the holiday season, it's the spirit of giving. You as a small business owner want to do the best maximum amount that you want to pay to the employees. Make sure it's all going through the payroll system, not separately. I want to remind one more thing to our viewers. As much as I'm okay to rely on the software, but software is only responsible for the calculation. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you are making the mistake in typing, the software is relying on your number.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, if you are not rechecking what the software is calculating, it's your problem. If the social security number is not right, it doesn't matter how good of the software is. The W-2 is incorrect. So as much as you're relying on the software, as you rightly said, Sanjeev ji, you have to take the responsibility to recheck, reconcile all these reports, because you don't want the IRS audit. You want to avoid any scrutiny when it comes to payroll, payroll taxes, and IRS.
Okay. This is all coming from the experience, AJ, that you can tell years ago. You used to be part of this, and I know that how it is. The other thing that we should let viewers know is that payroll deposits, if payroll deposits are not made on time, or God forbid a payroll deposit got missed, you're going to have a nightmare at the end of the year to reconcile payroll. And that could really, really trouble the employer, because our IRS would definitely throw out a flag, right?
100%. And remember, payroll tax, a lot of payroll tax is part of your fiduciary taxes.
Yes.
You are withholding this tax from the employee. So it's not your money to begin with. A lot of payroll taxes, when it comes to 6.2% of the Social Security, 1.45% of the Medicare, the income taxes are actually deducting from the employee salary. You paid employee less, took some taxes out, and now you did not pay to IRS. So you are holding these taxes from the employee and you're not paying to IRS. It becomes a double whammy. You are acting as a fiduciary in here when it comes to the payroll taxes. So make sure payroll taxes are properly paid. And remember, higher the payroll taxes, sooner they have to be paid. In many cases, the payroll taxes can be paid next month on 15th. In many cases, the IRS has a 2 weeks period, 1 week period, or 3 days period. The payroll, you run the payroll taxes have to be going out on third day. It all depends on how much payroll you have, how much payroll taxes you have. Higher the payroll taxes, sooner, lesser time you have, sooner you're expected to be paying it.
Very well. Now the question comes to you, is that how long these payroll reconciliation records are to be maintained as per IRS guidelines?
Generally, IRS recommends 4 years, Sanjeev ji, but I recommend 7, meaning there is no good reason, especially when it's electronic now. You don't have a lot of paper filing, paper checks, everything is electronic. So you have no reason to be discarding or deleting those files. In special cases, if there is a criminal case or if somebody else is getting audited, IRS can come back to you much later. It's not your fault, not your company. One of the employee that you had N number of years ago, that employee had a criminal situation or did not pay out of the divorce decree, did not pay the alimony, and now the system is trying to come back to you. So try to hold on to those electronic records as long as you can. Generally recommended guidelines is 4 years, Sanjeev ji.
Okay, 4 years. Now, God forbid, let's say there's an IRS payroll audit. Not that they found a mistake or something, maybe they got a little suspicious, right? And they send a letter out and they want to come in for the payroll audit. What do employers need to prepare themselves for IRS payroll audit?
Well, several things. So most IRS audits, when it comes to the payroll, happens because of missed payroll tax payments, as you rightly pointed out. The number one form that gets rejected when it comes to payroll is 940. That's why we wanted to talk about 940. So if you have a payroll audit, payroll tax audit, more than likely it's related to you missed the payment. So the first thing you want to do is to take out those bank records, take out those transactions, see how much taxes were supposed to be paid, how much taxes are actually paid, download a reconciliation from the IRS website or request the auditor to provide you the reconciliation, match it with your reconciliation, match it with your bank statement to see if everything is aligned properly. God forbid, if it extends to labor audit, meaning you did not pay the employees properly, or did not pay the overtime, or did not pay the minimum salary. You have to follow certain rules when it comes to the labor. The payroll tax audit is limited to collecting the taxes, but payroll is for the employees, and it can result into labor, and labor audit could be federal labor audit or the state labor audit. So it can create plethora of problems. It's a chain reaction. So make sure you try to understand why are they auditing, what are they auditing. Find your record. Hopefully you have the record, the bank statement. Go to the bank. If you don't have the, print it everything, highlight everything, match it with this thing, and try to be prompt about it. Do not ignore those letters. If you ignore those notices, they will create even bigger problem.
Yep. Absolutely. IRS tax audit notices never should be ignored. Whether it's a corporate or personal, do not put that on the side or do not throw that in the trash can. If you really don't know what to do with it, contact your CPA. And for that matter, Science CPA Services can certainly help you out. Next question I have for you, AJ, is that do fringe benefits affect payroll reconciliation?
It should. It does. So fringe benefit is nothing but additional benefits provided by the employer to the employees. All those benefits, if they are paid in cash, should be included as part of the payroll. If we are talking about providing lunch or providing snacks, they don't have to be included on the payroll records. But if you have any other benefit, cash or like cash type of benefit, they should all go through the payroll system. The idea is proper social security tax, Medicare tax, proper payroll tax withholding should happen before the benefit is given to the employees.
Okay. All right. I guess we have covered almost everything that we really need to know when it comes to payroll reconciliation to avoid IRS taxes and penalties. Unless if there is anything that you like to add in the end, please feel
Absolutely,
free.
Sanjeev ji. I want to remind our viewers, when it comes to payroll, W-2s must be filed by January 31st. All 1099s must be electronically filed by January 31st. The business tax deadline for multi-member LLC and S corporation is March 15th. A lot of people make this mistake. They assume the tax deadline to be April 15th, and then they end up paying penalties. Please understand, the tax deadline is for filing only. If you are filing an extension for your taxes, 6 months extension, make sure you are paying proper taxes beforehand, before filing the extension, so you don't have the large penalty. State of New Jersey can deny your extension filing if proper estimated taxes are not paid. So just be cognizant about basic deadlines and try filing the taxes sooner than later.
Okay, very good. I like to add a note here for our viewers is that obviously now it's time to get ready for 2026 taxes. You're going to be filing 2025 tax return in 2026. Taxes are complicated. Taxes, a lot of things have changed as part of President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. There are a lot of changes. You are entitled to some deductions. You are entitled to other deductions. There is a lot more things to do. So that's why have CPA do your taxes, have them do your tax return. And as President Donald Trump said in his address to the nation a couple of days ago, he mentioned that you will be getting a lot more money, IRS tax refund. He said that in a history of this country, IRS will be handing out a lot of money as part of a refund because of the tax laws change and the standard deductions and many other deductions have changed. That's why my suggestion and a strong recommendation to you is to contact Science CPA Services. They will look into it and they will do your taxes right. Whatever deductions you're entitled to, they'll make sure that you get the deduction. So don't try to do everything by yourself. It's a very complicated matter. Taxes are complicated. No one has understood. That's why we call that Uncle Sam, because Uncle Sam also gets confused sometimes. But Mr. AJ Kumar and his staff at Science CPA Services will guide you in the right direction. Give them a call at 908-888-8900. And of course, website is sciencecpaservices.com. AJ, thank you so very much for your guidance throughout the year. This has been amazing. And now we got to get ready for year 2026. The tax season is just around the corner. I am super excited, and hopefully we'll help out our viewers to do their taxes right.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Sanjeev.
All right. I am Sanjeev Pandya, wishing you all a very, very happy holidays and a bright new year. So long.
Thank you.